All right, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you how I make beautiful concrete bonsai pots like this one. And I can make them different sizes. Like this is the same exact pot, just much larger. And you can see they have drain holes in the bottom also for the water to drain out of your bonsais. Of course, you put a screen over top of that so your soil wouldn't drain out. They have beautiful feet on the bottom of the pots also, and you can make them different shapes also. Like this is a octagon pot that I make, and these are all made out of concrete. So these pots are high quality pots that will last well over 100 years. And since they are concrete, you can either plant your plants, your bonsai trees, or like this octagon pot, you can put any kind of plant you want inside there. So you can either plant your plants and bonsai trees in these pots as they are, or if you want, you can paint the outsides of these pots using normal exterior paint. So you can put any kind of color scheme you want on there. And if you, after a few years or whatever, you can always paint over it another color. So the way I make these pots is with plastic molds that I'll show you how to put together here in a moment. These are all the pieces of the mold, and you can see there's the imprint. That way when you pour your concrete inside here, you get the beautiful imprints in the concrete. Now I know a lot of people are going to ask, where do I get these molds from? The only place that I have found these molds for sale are on Alibaba.com. Basically that is the Chinese version of Amazon. So it is a Chinese company. They have been very easy to order from. I've ordered from 2 different companies off of Alibaba.com, and I had great success both times. So if you're interested in these molds, go to Alibaba.com and you'll find them. And like I said, they have all different sizes, all different shapes. So the first thing is put these molds together. This is the bottom piece. Obviously one of the corner pieces, and they snap together with these little twist pieces. And the first few times that you put your mold together, these twist ties, I'll call them, might be a little difficult to twist into position. But after a few times of making bonsai pots with the same mold, they get easier to twist. Okay, so now I have the mold all put together. The next step is a very important step. What you want to do is you want to oil the inside of the outer mold, and you want to oil the outside of the inner mold. And the reason why you do this is so that tomorrow when the concrete is set and you take these molds apart, the concrete doesn't stick to the plastic molds, and it's much easier to get the molds off of the concrete pot without damaging all the fine detail. Now, the type of oil that I use is just normal vegetable cooking oil, whether it's vegetable oil, whether it's peanut oil, or any other kind of just normal household cooking oil. Nothing special, nothing expensive, okay? And I just take this cooking oil and I pour it into a Tupperware container, and I just have a cheap paintbrush that I use, and I just wipe down the insides of the outer mold. And then of course I'll wipe down the outside of the inner mold. So basically I'm just painting this vegetable oil onto the mold. All right. And then I'll do the same thing to the inner mold. And then you want to do the bottom also, because obviously the concrete's going to be there also. Just like that. And then you put the two pieces of the mold together. And as you see down here at the bottom, there's a place for two more of these little ties. And then you're going to put the ties around the top also. All right, so there you have it. The mold is all put together, and these corners right here, that's where you're actually gonna pour the concrete. All right, so since I'm making a video, I'm going to be pouring this pot indoors today because it's the middle of winter time. So if you're gonna do this indoors, you definitely you're gonna make a mess, all right? So I have a piece of plastic down here on my table. There's going to be a little bit of concrete that is going to come out of the mold. As I'm pouring the concrete, I'm going to make a little bit of a mess, so you definitely want to protect your furniture, your table, or anything like that, all right? So the next step is to mix some concrete. Okay, so this is the type of mortar that I use to make my cement. You can get this from any big box store or any hardware store. This is just mortar that has no gravel in it. All right, so if you read the package, basically we're gonna do the mix for concrete. Basically, we're gonna do 1 part of this ash and then 2 parts sand. We are going to skip the gravel because obviously with the small slits that we have to pour the concrete in, we can't have any gravel, and the gravel would also mess up the detail of our pots. So all we're gonna use is this Portland cement, and we're gonna mix it with sand and obviously water, and that's what our concrete mix is gonna consist of. Okay, and the consistency that you want with your concrete is not real lumpy concrete like you would use on a driveway or a sidewalk. You want it to pour out kind of like cake batter would, or brownie batter if you was baking a cake. You want it to be pretty runny. So yes, I would say like cake batter. All right, so the next step, now that we have our concrete properly mixed up, is to slowly pour that into our molds. Now, one more piece of equipment that we're gonna use is a rubber mallet. Nothing special here, but what we want this rubber mallet for is when we're pouring the concrete into the mold, there's going to be small air pockets. And we don't want those air pockets to stay in our concrete, because then when the concrete dries, there would be voids in our concrete pot, which will be weak spots. So we will pour the concrete into our mold, and we will gently tap on the mold, which will bring those air bubbles and pockets out of the concrete, so we have a solid concrete pot tomorrow. So I'm going to start by scooping up concrete, and like I said, this is gonna be messy. That's why if you're doing this indoors, you're definitely gonna want a tarp or at least a piece of plastic to put down, because we will be making somewhat of a mess. So I'm just pouring the concrete into the corner of the mold. And I know I get some questions about what kind of sand I use when I mix my concrete. Any kind of sand you have. It doesn't matter if it's coarse sand, if it's river sand, if it's sand meant for under pavers in construction, or if it's for a kid's sandbox. Any kind of sand will do. So now that I've poured a few scoops of concrete into our mold, I'm going to start just gently tapping on the mold. And as I'm doing that, I can continue to pour more concrete into the mold. But you can kind of see as I'm pouring this that the concrete is the consistency of, like I said, cake batter or brownie batter. You don't want it real dry, real thick like you would use if you was pouring a concrete driveway or sidewalk, because you wouldn't be able to get it inside the mold. All right, so there we go. We have the concrete poured in the mold all the way up to this inner part of the mold's the lip. And so I can continue to tap this for probably the next 2-3 minutes to make sure there's no air bubbles inside there. But I won't bore you with that process. Other than that, for today, this concrete pot is done. Wait 24 hours for the concrete to cure. And after that, I'll show you the next process. So I'll see you in 24 hours. Okay, so welcome back. It has been 24 hours since we poured the concrete into our mold, and it is time to take the mold apart and see what we got. So I'm going to take these pins out, and I'm going to start by taking the inner part of the mold out first. I'm just going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to tap on the inner mold to get it to loosen a little bit. There it goes. See the inside of the pot? Now I'm going to take the pins out of the outside of the mold, and then I can start easily taking off the sides of the mold. Now all that's left is the bottom part of the mold. I'm going to turn the pot over, upside down, and I'm just going to gently tap all four corners of the bottom of the mold upwards. And what that would do is release the bottom of the mold. Now we have our beautiful new concrete bonsai pot. Now, if you notice, it's a little bit darker. Let me see if I can move this one more into frame, or possibly even hold both of them up at the same time. It's a little bit darker than this one that I poured the day before. But over the next 24 hours, our new concrete pot will continue to dry and it will get light to like this one over here. Now, over the next 30 days, these pots, the concrete will continue to cure, and over the next 30 days, they will become as strong as any concrete that you guys know about. And then within the next couple of weeks, you can, like I said, you can paint these any colors you want. Just use normal exterior paint, and you can plant your plants into these immediately. I could, if I had a bonsai tree or the other pot that I have, the octagon ones, you can put any kind of plant inside there immediately. So I hope you guys can see the beautiful detail that these pots have from these molds, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys would, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you guys have any questions, just leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until the next video, I hope you have a great day.